G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Front Runner Fridays podcast. On today's episode we are live on the streets of Adelaide for this year's 2024 VAILO Adelaide 500. On today's episode, first ever Porsche Carrera Cup driver on the podcast today. We've got Dylan O'Keefe. Dylan, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm well, mate. Really good, can't complain. It's a bloody hot day here in Adelaide, 37 degrees, so trying to keep cool in the shade, but yeah, can't wait to get on track later today.
Yeah, so how are you loving the streets of Adelaide this weekend? Quite a technical track, turn 8, bit brutal around here. How's it like in the Porsche?
Yeah, it's a fantastic circuit. Always love coming here. One of the best events of the year. You know, sort of comparable to the Australian Grand Prix. So high grip circuit, very fast flowing nature, high risk too, which we love. So really suits the Porsche. It's rapid around here, and yeah, can't wait to get out there and pass some cars later today.
For sure, mate. You went from 7th to 3rd yesterday. What a great first race that was to start the weekend off. Talk us through it.
Yeah, yesterday was a bit unfortunate. We missed the setup in qualifying. So the way Carrera Cup works this season is your fastest lap in qualifying is where you start race 1, and your second fastest lap is where you start race 2. So unfortunately, that put me in 7th off race 1 and 12th later today. So those combined results is where you start race 3 on Sunday. But it just means have to pass some cars, which we did yesterday. We were fortunate with other people's mistakes. We moved from 7th to 3rd, like you said. Today we're hoping to move forward from 12th, and then tomorrow finish off what's been a great year with GWR Australia. For
sure, mate. Talk us through what an amazing but very, very busy month has been for you. So you raced Bathurst 1000 with Nick Percat and Matt Stone Racing, then straight to the Gold Coast for the Porsches. Then you were back to Bathurst just 2 weeks later for the TCR, where you wrapped up the season. Now you're back here on the streets of Adelaide. Talk us through how you find these stressful few weekends.
Yeah, that's it. As a racing driver, you want to be on track, and we've been doing a lot of that recently. So, as you mentioned, going to Bathurst a couple of times, we've been to Gold Coast. Such a busy October, November period for us, which is fantastic. But after this weekend, it's all said and done. So, I'm sure next weekend I'll be bored at home, wishing I was racing a race car. But you know, we'll enjoy a long off season and then come back strong for next season too.
For sure, mate. And TCR wrapped up the championship wrapped up 3rd, was it? In 4th. In Bathurst for the TCR. Talk us through your season in the TCR. Obviously doing Porsches and TCR, there's quite a lot of differences between both cars. So talk us through how your season came.
That's it. So this year come about to race with Ashley Seward in the Lincoln Co, and that's a very successful TCR car. It's from Cyan Racing in Sweden, but a Lincoln Co is actually a Chinese made car, but essentially it's a Volvo. So really competitive TCR car. I enjoyed driving it. It's very technical. We can change a lot in the setup, and it, you know, throughout the year we kept learning, and what that meant was in Bathurst we actually won the round. So we progressed through every event. We had our ups and downs. It was a very tricky season, and the cars are hard to get in the window, but when it was in the window it was super quick, and that meant Sydney, the second last event, we finished on the podium with 2nd, and then we won Bathurst. So great to finish on a high, and hopefully I can do more of that next season as well.
Most definitely, mate. And talk us through Bathurst with Nick Percat. Obviously you've raced Porsches and TCR. What is it about the great race that's just so fantastic to you? The teams, the drivers, what is it? Supercars?
Yeah, just love being on the Supercars group because, you know, it's the best drivers in Australia, 50 of the best. You know, fantastic event. Everyone in Australia knows what Bathurst is, and they know Bathurst 1000 as well. So it's like our grand final of racing for the year, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed working with Nick. He's a spectacular driver. Matt Stone Racing, professional outfit. They're getting better every weekend, and you know, hopefully I can stay with them for next year. But you know, TBA on all the co-driving stuff. But yeah, a fun year, really enjoyed it, and yeah, Bathurst is special. You know, we were in the hunt for a top 10 result, but an unfortunate pit stop drama meant we had to do an extra pit stop because the passenger door come open in one of Nick's stints. So all of a sudden you lose 40 seconds and you're back to P17, which is where we finished. And from that spot, it's so competitive, and there was, as we know, the race wasn't very exciting. There wasn't many safety cars, so tough to make up lost ground.
For sure. And what do you talk of when we talk about Porsches? What is it that keeps you coming back to Porsche Carrera Cup? Is it the people, or what is it? Because you've raced TCR and Supercars. What is it about Porsches that keeps you coming back and staying in this category in particular?
Yeah, that's it. Carrera Cup's a really professional series, as we all know. Porsche is a great brand globally, but in Australia, as it shows this weekend, there's 29 cars on the grid, so it's super competitive, and we've got the best drivers in a support series level. So you've got experience like, you know, Dave Russell, Dale Wood, Fabian Coulthard. So you got some big names, and then you got guys like myself trying to make it as a career and prove to other teams that you're a fast driver. And you know, I'm probably in the middle there, and then you got the young guys coming through. So there's a big mix up the front in Carrera Cup, and then you got the last 10 or so drivers on the field that are gentlemen drivers. So they're very competitive in their own right as pro-am drivers, successful businessmen. But you we're all competitive in this series, and the best thing is we've all got the same toolbox essentially. So we've all got the same car. It's just how you get the most out of it.
Okay, for sure. And just touch on the threshold and the amount of skill that it takes to drive these machines. You've got young guys, you've got a couple oldies in here, but you've got boys like you. What's the standard in Porsche Carrera Cup?
Oh, the level's very high. Like, if the team get the setup right and you are driving well, you'll win that race. But if you're a little bit off in some areas, you'll be P5 or backwards. So if you're not on it, the results will reflect that. So it's super competitive, and you've got to get it right every weekend. And in a one-make series, qualifying is really important because racing usually proves to be quite hard.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, loving the Carrera Cup series, and the cars are pretty raw. No ABS, no traction. So it's a real driver's car.
And very hard to drive around this Adelaide street circuit.
Yeah, it is. Porsches tend to understeer because they don't have much weight in the front, but this 992 variant is a competitive car and handles really well. So usually you're actually struggling with a bit of rear grip, so a bit of turning oversteer. So you just got to manage that as a driver.
Okay, mate. And lastly, where from here for Dylan O'Keefe? I definitely we can see you stepping it up one day to Super Tour or even Supercars, but we're sticking for the Porsches for now. Where from here for you, mate?
Yeah, I'm in a bit of a tricky spot. Like, since COVID, I've sort of reset my racing life. I was trying to maybe head over to Europe and do a few more things a few years ago, but since COVID, had a bit of a reset, so pretty heavily entrenched in family business and stuff like that. So I enjoy my day-to-day job and also racing on the weekend. So I've got a good balance, and I'm pretty happy with that. But as you said, I'd be more than willing to drive other categories too. So you sort of just got to see what opportunities come to yourself. But we'll see what the future holds.
Definitely, mate. Bright future ahead of you for Dylan O'Keefe. That's Dylan O'Keefe on the Front Row Fridays podcast, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Live on the streets of Adelaide for this year's VAILO Adelaide 500. That's the first Porsche Carrera Cup driver we've had on the podcast. So thank you for coming on the show today, mate. It was nice knowing you. And I'll see you around, hey?
Thank you.
Cheers, everyone. Have a good one.